sir.
Yeah, just ask them. They will guide you. They will help you.
Okay, sir.
Fine, because they have means instructed us to post questions over there only.
In Google Classroom, there we are having A4, A5, A7 sections, sir. Separate sections, sir.
No, not separate sections. Just only hot batches are there.
Okay, sir. We'll check it
Yeah,
out tomorrow, sir.
yeah, you can just ask them. They will guide you. Now this whiteboard is visible?
No, sir.
No? Okay, fine. I'll put off my camera. Still, it is not visible.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir, have you shared the screen, sir?
Yeah, I am trying to do that. It's taking time. Trying many multiple times and only once getting connected.
Sir, by the time you'll be trying, we can discuss the what we had done in last class.
Yeah, but I'm just, I hope so that we'll do it soon.
Sir, do you have any physical board? Like, if you have, you can teach on that also.
Yeah, actually in Hyderabad that is there. In my home it is there. Right now I am not there.
Okay, sir.
Since every day it is working fine, so that's why.
Sir, I
Now,
guess you've not shared your screen,
yeah,
that
yeah,
share option.
Yeah, I'm doing that only, but it takes this Microsoft, sorry, this Paint takes time. That
Sir, the screen is visible now, sir.
yeah, now it is visible. So in last class we were doing quantum numbers. As I told you, as your bike is having or your vehicle is having some registration number, and your roll number, your PIN code gives us information about you or about your vehicle or about your accommodation locality. So like that, quantum number is there to give us information about electron. It gives information. Quantum numbers are the code numbers. Quantum numbers are the code numbers which gives you information. Just see in what sequence I am writing here, in what sequence I am grouping these quantum numbers. Just see that the sequence. That's very important because that you will be studying only therein. In first, you will be dividing this information into, four classes. First, energy. This quantum numbers gives you an idea about the energy of the electron. Then orbit of the electron, in which electron is there, number of orbit, excuse me, or number of shell, number of orbit or number of shell in which electron is there, distance of the electron from the nucleus, distance of the electron, that is also the same thing, distance of the electron from the nucleus, then radii of the orbit, and volume of the orbital. These 5 volume of the orbital. These 5 points we have written there in first group. So these 5 informations you can get from quantum number. Energy of the electron, number of orbit in which electron is there, distance of the electron from the nucleus, radii of the orbit, and volume of the orbital. What else you can come to know about an electron from these quantum numbers? We can get information about the angular momentum of electron, angular momentum of electron. You can get shape of the orbital. Then third, we can get orientation of an electron. Orientation of an electron means electron is there in pH or py or pz, in which subshell it is there. Then spin of the electron. Whether electron is moving in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So this all information we can come to know about an electron with the help of this quantum numbers. We have grouped them there in 4 groups now. So these are 5 to 7, 8 and 9. Total 9 points are there. Total 9 points about an electron is there. With the help of these quantum numbers, you can come to know about those points about an electron. Now see, as I told you, some other than this also quantum numbers history starting Bohr explained, Bohr model explained or introduced a simple quantum number n. Fine, simple quantum number n. What n is? As I told you, you can classify quantum numbers into 4 classes. We can classify quantum numbers into 4 classes. Principal quantum number, that is denoted by L small n. It gives you an idea about the shell of the electron. Second quantum number is azimuthal or subsidiary or angular momentum. or angular momentum quantum number. That is denoted by small l. It gives you information about the subshell. Subshell means whether electron is there in S subshell or P subshell or D subshell. Then third quantum number gives you information, that is magnetic quantum number. Magnetic quantum number, that is denoted by small m, and it gives you information about the orbital, whether electron is there in Px or Py or Pz subshell orbital, sorry. Then fourth quantum number is spin quantum number. That spin quantum number is denoted by small s, and it gives you information about an electron. So see, this principal quantum number is denoted by small n. Azimuthal or subsidiary or angular momentum quantum number is denoted by small l. Magnetic quantum number is denoted by small m, and spin quantum number is denoted by small s. So this gives you information about the shell, then subshell, then orbital, and then electron. So see, this first is related to principal quantum number. Principal quantum number tells you about the energy of the electron, number of orbit in which electron is there, distance of the electron from the nucleus, and the radii of the orbit and volume of the orbital. All these 5 points are information about an electron we can get through this principal quantum number. Then azimuthal or subsidiary or angular momentum quantum number, that is denoted by L. You can get, with the help of this quantum number, you can get information about the angular momentum of electron, angular momentum of an electron, and the shape of the orbital. 2 points. Here 5 points. Here 2 points. In first group 5 points are there. You can interchange their position, but never change this property from first to any property of second, third, or fourth. Never interchange like this, but never intermingle them. Then otherwise, then from this magnetic quantum number, that is denoted by small m, you will come to know about the orientation of an electron. That is third group. Only 1 point. Only 1 point. This one. And with the help of a spin quantum number, you can come to know about the spin of the electron. That is fourth point. 1 point only. So in this way, all these 9 points you can come to know about an electron with the help of quantum numbers. Hello, yeah. Hello, yes. Hello,
Sir,
yes.
you had said about the photoelectric effect, no, sir? Can you tell once again, sir? I didn't understand with that.
No, photoelectric effect we have not done. Photoelectric effect and black body radiation, both we have not done. We'll do it. Later, what we'll do. I have just told you.
Sir,
I have just
I
told
thought
you.
we had done.
No, we'll be doing numericals also based on that. And we even have not yet started photoelectric effect. I just told you that with the help of that quantum theory of radiation, we can explain photoelectric effect and black body radiation. Nothing I have said about that other than this. So that we will be doing laterwards. It is not yet done. And is very important. There we'll talk about the work function also, threshold frequency, etc. So now what I was telling you that with the help of this principal quantum number, you can come to know about these 5 properties of an electron. Then azimuthal will gives you information about these 2 properties. Magnetic will give you information about this property, and spin quantum number will give you information about this spin of the electron. Now, what I was telling you, this principal quantum number was introduced by Bohr. Bohr model introduced a simple quantum number, that is principal quantum number, which gives you an idea about the shell, about the orbit. So about the orbit. Fine. Is it okay? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
Now, I told you that Bohr model, Bohr model introduced this principal quantum number, and quantum mechanical model, that also is not yet done. We will be doing it laterwards. Quantum mechanical model gives you about these first three quantum numbers: 1, 2, 3. Principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, and magnetic quantum number. This was explained by quantum mechanical model. Quantum mechanical model or wave mechanical model used these three quantum numbers n, l, and m to describe about the orbital, subshell, and orbit, to describe about an orbital. And Bohr-Sommerfeld model. So just what I told you, Bohr introduced about this one only. Quantum mechanical model explained about these first three quantum numbers, and this last one, that is spin quantum number, that is fourth quantum number, was explained by Bohr-Sommerfeld model. So Bohr-Sommerfeld model explained the four quantum numbers. And according to quantum mechanical model, if they will be asking you according to quantum mechanical model, how many quantum numbers are there? 3. And according to Bohr's model, how many quantum numbers are there? 1. And according to Bohr-Sommerfeld model, how many quantum numbers are there? 4 quantum numbers are there. So total quantum numbers are 4, but according to Bohr, it is 1 only. According to quantum mechanical model, it is 3 only. And according to Bohr-Sommerfeld model, it is 4 only. So is it clear? They can ask you questions
Yes, sir.
from.
Sir, and here Bohr only had said both the things, sir, that in this first only
first,
one second he said all 4, sir.
No. That is Bohr-Sommerfeld model. That is not alone Bohr model. That is Bohr-Sommerfeld model. First is Bohr model, Neil Bohr. And the last one is Bohr-Sommerfeld.
Yes, sir.
Two different scientists. Both are not one and the same person.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So here they can ask you a question. That's why I'm repeating so many times. Bohr, just one quantum number. Quantum mechanical model, 3 quantum numbers. And Bohr-Sommerfeld model, 4 quantum numbers. So they can ask you 4 quantum numbers are there according to which model? A, Bohr model. B, quantum mechanical model. C, wave mechanical model. D, Bohr-Sommerfeld model. So it is Bohr-Sommerfeld model which gave which gave 4 quantum numbers about an electron. So these are the 9 points. So see, if you'll classify them like this, then it will be very easy for you to handle, because usually maths students have a lot of difficulty in mugging up chemistry. That's why they usually do not score so good marks there in chemistry, because they try to because in physics and maths they are having different habit. There everything is having logic, and in chemistry means you have to mug up also anything. So that's why they feel little difficult to mug up chemistry. Now this is all about the, in one shot I have finished everything related to principal, azimuthal, magnetic, and spin quantum number. We will still be doing some more things. It's a very important topic, and questions from there they can ask you not only in entrance but in your PUC first year also. Now, now what rest related to principal quantum number, we will keep on discussing about those things. First is principal quantum number. Principal quantum number, that is denoted by small n. See, if n is equal to 5, what does it mean? Electron is in 5th shell. If n is equal to 7, electron is in 7th shell. And if n is equal to infinity, yeah. If n is equal to, yeah, please tell me. Yeah, please tell me.
Sir,
Your voice is breaking, Sri Ramna. Sri Ramna.
yes, sir.
Yeah, your voice is breaking, Sri Ram. What you are asking me? Yeah, please tell me, Sriram, what you are asking me. Sriram? Okay, fine.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, I just wanted to ask, like, and also represent the energy of the
Pardon?
network is breaking, sir, not proper.
Yeah, yeah. Please tell me what you are asking me.
Sir, and represents the energy of the shell.
Energy of the shell. Yeah, that is what I want to discuss. Formula for the energy of the shell, radii of the shell. This is what I want to discuss. But I lost this whiteboard.
Sir, but
Yeah,
we can see the
yeah,
blackboard, sir.
yeah. Now it is visible now. Now it is okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. So, see, if you want to calculate energy of the electron or radius of the electron, we should know the formula that you can come to know with the help of this principal quantum number only. So, I'll be posting some notes also there on this. In that notes paper, some important formula related to this atomic structure will be there. And rest I have already posted there in the beginning itself, ions, important compounds, etc., alloys, etc., ores also, etc. So I already posted, and rest I will be posting tonight itself. So please just go through this one. You have to learn all this, then only you can score well there in chemistry. Without all these things, it will be little difficult for us to manage chemistry. Radii of the radii of the nth shell. Radii of the nth shell for H atom. For H atom. In case of H atom, number of shell will be 1. So need not to put N. But if you will be writing N, then also will be of no use. So radii of nth shell for hydrogen atom is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into N square H square upon 4me square pi square. This is square. So radii of the nth shell for hydrogen atom is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into n square h square upon 4 pi me square. This is E, pi square. What pi is? You know, pi is a constant 3.14. What epsilon naught is?
Yes.
Epsilon naught is permittivity factor. 4 pi epsilon naught is permittivity factor. 4 pi epsilon naught is, this is permittivity factor. This is permittivity factor. And what the value of epsilon naught is? Epsilon naught is equal to 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square kg inverse meter inverse cube second meter inverse cube second square. So this is value of epsilon naught. What n is? N is number of shell. H is Planck's constant, that is 6.625 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule into second. So you should remember unit also. M is the mass of the electron, E is the charge of the electron, and pi is again constant. This is E. This is E, that is charge of the electron. So what does it means? Means radii of the nth shell will be directly proportional to the n square. More the number of shell, more will be the radii of the orbit. Here I was explaining you if n is equal to 5, then electron will be there in the fifth shell. If n is equal to 7, electron will be there in the seventh shell. And if n is equal to infinity, means electron is there at infinite distance from the nucleus. When electron will be there at infinite distance from the nucleus, in that case, energy of the electron will be 0. That is the highest one. That is the maximum one. So electron will be most stable at that distance because there won't be any attraction or repulsion. So electron will be having most stable state. And less than this infinity, that is 7 or 5 or 4 or 3 or 2, 1, all these subshells containing electrons will be having energy less than 0, because as you come closer to the nucleus, energy starts decreasing now. So when electron is there at infinity, then its energy will be 0, will be most stable. And before that infinity shell, if electron will be there in fifth shell or fourth shell or third shell, then their electronic energy will be lesser than 0. That is why electronic energy always considered as negative. Electronic energy is always considered as negative. Why? This question also they can ask you, because when electron will be there at infinity, then the energy of the electron will be 0. That is the highest energy of an electron, and at that distance electron will be most stable. As electron comes closer to the nucleus, its energy starts decreasing. What does it means? Energy starts decreasing in compared to what? Decreasing, then 0. So less than 0 will always be negative. So that is why electronic energy will always be considered as negative. Fine. This question is also there here. Pardon? Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, can you repeat, sir?
Yeah, electronic energy will always be considered as negative. Why? Because when electron will be there at infinity, then the energy of the electron will be 0. At that distance, at infinite distance, electron will be most stable. Why? Because its energy will be 0 and no attraction towards the nucleus or no repulsion with other electrons will be there at that distance. So since there is no attraction or repulsion, so electron will be feeling most stable. And if electron comes closer to the nucleus, then the infinite shell, then obviously as it comes closer to the nucleus, its energy starts decreasing. So energy starts decreasing from where? Decreasing from 0. Decreasing from 0 means negative. That is why electronic energy will always be considered as negative energy. Radii of the orbit will always be directly proportional to n square. What does it mean? Means more the number of the shell, more will be the radii of that orbit. So it is directly proportional to n square. Radii of the orbit is directly proportional to n square. This was about the radii of the orbit. You know, radii of the first orbit of hydrogen atom is 0.58 angstrom. So that is called Bohr's radius. Radii of the first orbit of hydrogen atom is 0.58 angstrom. That is known as Bohr's radii, Bohr's distance. Now see,
Sir, so can we say hydrogen's radius as Bohr's radius?
yeah, just a minute. Radii of the first orbit of the hydrogen atom, that is called Bohr's radii, that is 0.58 angstrom. That is called Bohr's radii. 0.529, sorry, I wrote 0.58, that is 0.529 angstrom. That is called Bohr's radius. So Bohr's radius is the radii of the first orbit of hydrogen atom. Fine. So that is 0.529 angstrom. So first orbit means ground state. So electron, when they are there in the ground state in hydrogen atom, then the radii of that first orbit of the hydrogen atom will be 0.529 angstrom. That is called Bohr's radii. Now see, this is about the radii of the hydrogen atom. Many more formula you can write here. Many more formula you can write for radii of the orbit. Radii of the nth shell is equal to n square a naught upon z angstrom. What this a naught is? This a naught is this one 0.529 angstrom. And n is the number of shell, z is the atomic number, and angstrom is the unit. So obviously in hydrogen atom, atomic number will be 1 and number of shell will also be 1 there in ground state. If it is excited state, then first excited state, then 2 square, second excited state, 3 square, fourth, first excited state, 2 square, second excited state, 3 square, third excited state, 4th square. So like this, we will be writing this all. So this is the formula for the radii of the nth shell of any atom. Nth shell, radii of the nth shell is equal to n square a naught upon z. What a naught is? A naught is 0.529 angstrom, that is Bohr's radius. What n is? Number of shell, and what z is? Atomic number. See, ground state, if we will be talking about hydrogen, ground state, then n will be equal to 1. First excited state, then n is equal to 2. Second excited state, then n will be equal to 3. Like this, they can ask you like this, you can write this all information over here. And they might be giving you z also. If they have not given, then also you should remember, that is what I told you, you should know periodically, then only you can handle this all. So this was about the radii of the hydrogen atom or any atom. There is one more formula for radii of nucleus. Radii of nucleus is equal to R naught that is A naught, not R naught, A naught, A to the power 1 by 3. This is R naught, this is R naught, A to the power 1 by 3. What R naught is? R naught is Bohr's angstrom. What A is? A is atomic mass. A is atomic mass, and R naught is Bohr's radius. Sorry, A naught is Bohr's radius. We can say it A naught. I have said R naught. A naught is Bohr's radius. So Bohr's radius into atomic mass to the power 1 by 3. This is for the nuclei, for the radius of the nucleus. Now we'll be talking about the energy of the shell. Today it is our which class? It is fourth class for this atomic structure, or which class it is?
Fourth class.
Fifth class. Because actually I am storing all these pages now. So this was first slide. Now we'll talk about the energy of the nth shell. energy of the nth shell. Energy of the nth shell. For energy of the nth shell, there is formula. As I told you, electronic energy will always be considered as negative. They can ask you why electronic energy will always be considered as negative. Electronic and the energy of the nth shell. Energy of the nth shell. You know, energy of the nth shell, what I was about to ask you on. Energy of the nth shell. Okay, fine, leave it. Energy of the nth shell is equal to minus 2 pi square me to the power 4 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught square n square h square. So this is for energy of the nth shell. Minus 2 pi square me to the power 4 upon 4 pi epsilon naught square into n square h square. Here, their radii was directly proportional to the square of the number of shell. Here, it will be inversely proportional. Energy of the electron, their radii of the orbit was directly proportional, but energy of the electron is energy of the nth shell is inversely proportional to n square. So this is the relationship between energy and the shell. Means lesser the number of the shell, more will be the energy of the electron, but that will be negative. More means more in negative. So in actual it will be less. So as the distance increases, energy increases, and when electron will be there at infinite distance, their energy will be maximum, that is 0. So maximum is 0, so rest will be obviously less than 0, that is negative. So energy of the nth shell will always be equal, will be directly proportional to 1 upon n square. If number of shell is less, energy will be more, but that energy will be there in negative. So negative is a sign convention. Negative is not that mathematical negative. Negative is a sign convention which says that, see, if you are going towards MG road, the distance from your house is 10 kilometer. But if you will be coming back from your that MG road to house, then how much distance you will be covering? Minus 10 kilometers. So less than 0 distance, how we can cover? But that negative shows that the direction of movement, direction of your traveling is just opposite to that of the previous one. So minus is nothing but just shows that direction is work is going there in opposite direction of the previous one. So this minus is sign convention that says that if you'll be coming closer to the nucleus, then the energy of the electron will be negative, then will be decreasing. Energy of the nth shell. Energy of the nth shell will be equal to, if you'll place value pi m e n h and pi epsilon naught etc., then what you will get? Minus 13.7 upon n square electron volt per atom, or minus 1.312 into 10 to the power 3 upon into 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 3 upon excuse me, upon n square, that is in kilojoule, per mole. So if it is in electron volt per atom, then minus 13.7 upon n square, and if it is in kilojoule per mole, then minus 1.312 into 10 to the power 3 upon n square. This value we have to remember, this all. So if we'll be talking about the energy of the first shell for hydrogen atom, energy of the first shell for hydrogen atom. In that case, see, this N will be 1. So answer will be minus 13.7 electron volt per atom. Electron volt per atom. Or for second shell, it will be E2. E2 for hydrogen will be minus 13.7 upon 2 square. N square means 2 na second shell. So that will be minus 3.425 electron volt per atom. This question already they asked you there in ITJEE. So for second shell, energy of the hydrogen atom will be minus 3.425 electron volt. So that's all about the energy and the radii of the orbit. Like this in my notes paper, you will get the exact value of radii of electron, radii of atom, radii of second orbit, effective radius of atom, and effective radius of electron, etc. Everything, effective nucleus, radii of nucleus, etc. Everything you will get. Fine. So there in my notes paper, you will get this on the rest of the things. Then energy is over. About as I told you, volume also. For volume also, since it is not so important, that's why I'm not discussing it here. But that in my notes paper, you will be getting everything. It's around. I think it is around 4 pages. So in those 4 pages, you will be getting everything related to the important points related to the atomic structure. The heading is that some important points and formula from atomic structure. Now see, this all is over. So as I told you, as the distance increases from the nucleus, energy of the electron increases. When an electron will be there at infinite distance, energy of that electron will be 0. Now see azimuthal quantum number. In azimuthal quantum number, what formula will be used here that we'll be talking about. This was all about principal quantum number. Then azimuthal, if suppose they will be asking you to write a short note on principal quantum number. So those 5 points, then Bohr gave idea about the principal quantum number, and then rest radii of the orbit formula, different formula, energy. That depends upon the marks. For how many marks they have given you this question. So if it is 3, 4, 5 marks, then you should mention this all. Then azimuthal or angular momentum or subsidiary quantum number. Here, what formula will be using? Before talking about the formula, C for S subshell. For S subshell, L value will always be equal to 0. For P subshell, L value will always be 1. For D subshell, L value will always be 2. And for F subshell, L value will always be equal to 3. Fine. So these are the code numbers for S, P, D, F subshell. Suppose if they are talking about the 4S subshell, what does it mean? For S subshell, N value is 4 and L value will be 0. If they are talking about 5F, what does it mean? It means N is equal to 5 and L is equal to 4. L is equal to 3. L is equal to 3. If they are talking about 2P, what does it mean? N is equal to 2 and L is equal to 1. If they are talking about 3D, what does it mean? N is equal to 3 and L is equal to 2. So these are the designations for different subshells, 4S, 5F, 2P and 3D subshells. For them, what designation is there? That's you have written here. N is equal to 4, L is equal to 0. See, one more point I want to clear it here, because other than this place, we will not be getting any chance to explain it. That is N plus L rule. N plus L rule. If N plus L value is higher, then energy will be higher. See, you have said that electron first goes to 4S rather than 3D. Electron first goes to 4S rather than 3D because the energy of the 4S is lesser than 3D. That's why electron will first goes to 4S rather than 3D. Now here we are getting chance to explain it. 4S means N is equal to 4, L is equal to 0. So 4 plus 0 will be 4. Here N is equal to 3 and L is equal to 2. So 3 plus 2 will be 5. 5 is higher, 5 is higher than 4. So this will be having more energy. So from where you will come to know about the energy of the electron? From this n plus L rule. Are you all getting this all? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is this clear? Are you baby there?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes,
We are
sir.
here.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Students are there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear us, sir?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can
Am
hear
I
you.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Uh, okay, fine. But I can't hear you. I'm not able to hear you all. I don't know what the reason is. Sri Ramakrishna, you wrote that N also represents energy. Fine. That is you can't write capital N. Will always be writing a small n. Sri Ram, why your voice is not coming, maybe? N must be small. Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Am I audible, students? But I can't hear you all. Okay, fine.
We can hear you, sir.
Hello. N is energy, small n. That should be small n. It should not be capital N. Fine. Okay. Now, Alice, keep on writing. Now see, this n plus L rule is over. Now, if they will be asking if two subshells will be having same n plus L value. If two subshells are having same value, C, 4P and 3D. 4P, N is 4, N is 4 and L is equal to 1. And 3D, N is equal to 3 and L is equal to 2. So both will be having 5. So now which will be having more energy? Higher N value will be having more energy than lower N value. So 4P will be having more energy than the 3D. This is the outcome of this N plus L rule. That is what Above principle based on this N plus L rule only. Is it okay? Fine.
Yes, sir.
Now see, this is all we are doing related to this azimuthal quantum number. So now see, value of L will always be n minus 1. That's true, but that n can never be more than, it will always be equal to or less than 4. It can't be greater than 4. It will, n value will always be less than 4 or equal to 4, then only this formula will be correct. Otherwise, this formula will become wrong. Otherwise, this formula will become wrong. See, if you will be taking n is equal to 5, if you will be taking n is equal to 5, then L will be equal to 5 minus 1, that's 4 now, but no subshell is having L is equal to 4 value. No subshell is having n is equal to 4 value, so that will be wrong. That's why I'm telling you n must be less than or equal to 4, then only this formula, this relationship will be right, otherwise this formula will become wrong. So here, with the help of this azimuthal quantum number, we will be there in a position to calculate orbital angular momentum. Orbital angular momentum. Orbital angular momentum is equal to h upon 2 pi square root of L into L plus 1. What L is? L is azimuthal quantum number or angular momentum quantum number, subsidiary quantum number, these 4 values. That is L. This is orbital angular momentum. So orbital angular momentum you can calculate with the help of this formula h upon 2 pi into square root of L into L plus 1. If suppose they will be talking about the spin angular momentum, if they will be talking about the spin angular momentum, then instead of this L, you will be writing S only, that is a spin quantum number. That is a spin quantum number. So just please remember this all formula as this is all about the azimuthal quantum number. Now, the third and the last quantum number is magnetic quantum number. Third and the last is third is the magnetic quantum number, that is denoted by small m. In terms of difficulty level, this will be the last one, because spin quantum number, that is fourth one, is not so difficult. That's very easy. So difficult most questions will only be coming from this azimuthal and angular momentum, magnetic quantum number. I'll tell you how. Now see, we'll be discussing questions too. Now see magnetic quantum number, that is denoted by small m. One more point which I didn't mention there, as I told you, principal quantum number was explained by Bohr. Bohr explained about principal quantum number. He gave n, and azimuthal quantum number was given by Sommerfeld. This azimuthal quantum number was given by Sommerfeld. This azimuthal quantum number was given by Sommerfeld, and magnetic quantum number is given by Lande. It is given by Lande. As I already told you everything related to this magnetic quantum number, here I will be telling you that here we wrote for L is equal to n minus 1. Like that, L is equal to n minus 1. Like that, you will be writing formula here for m also. M is equal to 2L plus 1. L is this 0, 1, 2 or 3. Suppose if you'll be talking about S subshell, for S subshell, M will be equal to 2 into 0. For S subshell, L will be 0 now, so 2 into 0, 0. 0 plus 1 will be 1. So M will be 1. 1 doesn't mean 1. 1 means one value. 1 means one value. And what that value will be, that value will be 0 only. 1 doesn't mean mathematical 1. 1 means how many different types of value this M can have. This M can have only 0 value. Are you getting my point? You should not get confused, man. That's very important. 1 doesn't mean 1. 1 means only one value. What exactly that value is? 0. See, now I'll be taking now P subshell. For P subshell, M is equal to 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3. 3 doesn't mean 3. 3 doesn't mean 3. 3 means M value will be plus 1, minus 1 and 0. Plus 1, minus 1 and 0. That is what I told you there while I was explaining about the shape of this subshell. There I told you Pz will always be having m value 0 and Px and Py will be having either +1 or -1. Is this clear? For
Yes,
P
sir.
subshell, m will be having 3 values. M will be equal to 3. 3 doesn't mean 3. 3 means 3 different values. What those values will be? +1, -1, and 0. 0 will always be M0 will always be for PZ subshell. Like this we will be doing for like this we'll be doing for like this we'll be doing for D subshell also. For D subshell also. Formula is M is equal to 2L plus 1. So M is equal to L for D subshell. L for D subshell is 2. So 2 into 2, that is 4 plus 1, that is 5. M will be 5. 5 doesn't mean 5. 5 means 5 values. Plus minus 2, plus minus 1 and 0. As I already told you, 0 will always be for dz square, and for rest also I had explained everything, that what will be the value for px and dx square, y square, and dxy and dyz, dxz. Everything I have explained there in our previous classes. So you should go through this all from there only. In shapes of the orbitals, before this quantum number, I explained everything. As I told you that dxz, dxz, dyz, dxz, dyz will always be having +1 or -1, and dx square, y square, and dxy will be having +-2, and dz square will always be having 0. So like this, you can write m value for f subshell also. That will be 7 from +3 to -3, +-3, +-2, +-1, and 0. So 7 different values f subshell can have. 7 different m values f subshell can have. Now see, this all is over related to magnetic quantum numbers. Now we'll be going to the next stream. As I told you, spin angular momentum. In a spin angular momentum, everything will remain the same. Will be h upon 2 pi. Just instead of square root of L into L plus 1, there you will be writing square root of S into S plus 1. So for a spin, S will be there, and for angular momentum orbital, angular momentum L will be there. So this is all about the magnetic quantum number. Then now in this magnetic quantum number only, we will be talking about the Siemens effect and Stark's effect. See, usually all these things are little difficult for us to remember. Z-man, man is man is there, na? So splitting of spectral lines in magnetic field, splitting of spectral lines, splitting of spectral lines, splitting of spectral lines, in magnetic field is called Zeeman effect, and splitting of spectral lines in electrical field is called Stark's effect. So splitting of spectral lines in magnetic field is called Siemens effect, and splitting of spectral lines in electrical field is called Stark's effect. Now see, this Stark and Zeeman effect are explained by magnetic quantum number. Now see, the last fourth quantum number. Now we will be talking about the last fourth quantum number, that is spin quantum number. Spin quantum
Sir?
number, it is denoted by small s. If electron shows clockwise spin, then s value will be plus half, and if it shows minus value, what does it means? Means it is having anti-clockwise spin. This is clockwise spin and this one is anti-clockwise. If this electron is there clockwise spin, then s value will be plus half, and if it is anti-clockwise value, then s will be minus half. So downsided arrows and upsided arrows. Downsided arrows and upsided arrow. From there you will come to know whether electron is showing clockwise spin or anti-clockwise spin. This spin quantum number was given by Hollenbeck and Goldschmidt. Who gave this? Hollenbeck and Goldschmidt gave this spin quantum number, which tells you about the spin of the electron. Spin angular momentum formula. Spin angular momentum formula already I gave you. Spin angular momentum formula, that is equal to h upon 2 pi square root of s into s plus 1. Now see, we will be talking about the in an orbit, maximally how many electrons can be accommodated? Number of electrons in an orbit, that is 32. That is 2n square, and n can't be greater than or greater than 4. N will always be equal to 4 or less than 4. Then only this formula will be right. Number of electrons in an orbit is 32. Subshell, that is SF subshell. In that F subshell, maximally 14 electrons can be accommodated. Number of electrons in an orbital can never be more than 2. And that's all. See in an orbit, how many maximally orbitals can be there? 16. In an orbital, sorry, in an orbit, how many orbitals can be there maximally? 16. In a subshell, maximally, how many orbitals can be there? 7. So now see, they can ask you in an orbit, how many electrons maximally can be accommodated? 32. But in first shell, it is 2. In second, it is 8. In third, it is 18. And in fifth and sixth shell, it is 32. And in last shell, it can never be more than 8. And before that, can never be more than 18. This is what Bohr-Baris rule or Bohr-Baris scheme is there. Now see, this all is over. Number of electrons in an orbit is over. Orbital is subshell. See, what I was about to miss. This they will be asking you in px or py or pz orbital, how many electrons can be accommodated? 2 electrons only. Or they will not be specifying you px, py or pz orbital. They will be asking you p orbital. Since in p 6 electrons can be there, you will be writing 6. No, it can't be 6. In any orbital, maximally 2 electrons can be accommodated. They will be asking you in d orbitals, how many electrons can be accommodated? 10. No, in d, 10 can't be d orbital. Electrons can't be 10. It can only be 2 electrons. So in any orbital, maximally how many electrons can be accommodated? Only 2 electrons can be accommodated. Now very fast I will be telling you, if n is equal to 5, if n is equal to 5, then L will be 0, L is equal to 1, L is equal to 2, L is equal to 3. This can be maximally possible. If L is 0, M will always be equal to 0. If L is 1, M will be equal to plus 1, minus 1 and 0. If L is equal to 2, M will be equal to plus minus 2, plus minus 1 and 0. If L is equal to 3, M will be equal to plus minus 3, plus minus 2, plus minus 1 and 0. If M is 0, then S will be either plus half or minus half. In every case, in every orbital, 2 electrons can be accommodated, and in every orbital, S value will always be either plus half or minus half, like this. Plus half and minus half, you will be writing like this. Fine. If suppose they have given n is equal to 5 and L is equal to 2, what does it mean? They are talking about 5D subshell. What they are asking from us, 5D subshell. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. And all these 12 points, etc. I am having YouTube channel also on my name only, Abdul Wajid Haider. So you can Google there in that YouTube channel also. And if you need further any further help there related to the same topic, you can post. So I'll try my level best to post more videos as soon as possible. Fine. Or from other classes, I'll be posting all those things. So just please let me know. Still, this is not yet done. Tomorrow we'll be doing questions based on this. Fine. Still not yet done. So tomorrow we'll keep on doing questions based on this all. So just please go through this all so that we can discuss further. I'll be asking you reverse the question tomorrow, and that question you won't be getting anywhere there in books. So you have to be very good in. So now this all is over, man. Now tomorrow we'll keep on doing questions based on this quantum numbers. Fine. Thank you very much. Good evening, you all. Have a very,
Thank
very
you,
good
sir.
evening.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sorry, Anu, tomorrow I'll repeat it. Fine, Anu, just remind me tomorrow. Fine, just in the beginning itself, just remind me. My memory is my biggest asset, man. So just please try to handle that. Fine, so just let me know. I'll explain it tomorrow. Just I have not seen this message now. I was there on the screen only.